blotting, we can add that colony on the membrane, so that that colony must have protein against that gene, and we have antibody, so we can check their presence. So one of the method is immunochemical method to screen the genomic library, provided we must have antibody against that protein, then we can perform immunochemical methods. Protein-protein interaction. So suppose if you know one protein and you are thinking that in that organism their complementary protein must be present. So you have cloned all the genes of that genome into E. coli. You have prepared genomic library. So from that one protein you can immobilize, bind in some matrix, and then one by one you can add some proteins from the different colonies. In this way you can find their partner proteins. And if you are finding the presence of partner protein in suppose colony number X, that means that colony have the gene which codes for the protein. In this way you can find out, you can screen the genomic library. Protein ligand interaction. So if you have information about the ligand, then you can immobilize that ligand in matrix and take colony extract one by one, and then you can search their protein. Functional complementation. What is functional complementation? Hybridization based screening, how can we do? So you know, everybody, you know that this is hybridization. This is one type of DNA, this is second type of DNA. If both have some complementarity, then it will hybridize. If there is no complementary sequence, then it will not hybridize. So from one sequence, you can find out their complementary sequence. So that is basis of hybridization based screening. What are the hybridization based techniques we use in molecular biology? Can you write? DNA hybridization based techniques, what are those techniques we use or we have studied in MSc or BSc? Please write. DNA hybridization based technique. This microarray, right? Southern blotting, right? 3. This microarray, southern blotting, and other only 3. Southern, northern is also hybridization based, right? Then annealing is a hybridization.
Annealing, yeah, hybridization.
Yes. So PCR is also hybridization based technique. Dot blot we perform. So there are so many hybridization based technique. Good. So you can see there how we do colony hybridization. And how can we screen that desired clone or desired colonies from the thousands of colonies in the plate or from the library. So here you can see, suppose you wish to search which colony have your desired DNA sequence, desired DNA fragment clone. You don't know. By seeing the colony, by looking at the colonies, you cannot say which colonies have your desired DNA. Insulin gene is cloned, suppose. So what we do, we transfer the replica of these colonies through this membrane. We add these colonies on this membrane, but we must properly mark this. Stage we can find out which colony is corresponding to which spot is corresponding to which colonies. So we mark properly this. So we transfer these colonies, part of these colonies on this membrane, nitrocellulose membrane. Then what we do? So we treat this membrane with detergent, SDS or other detergent, so that that cell will lyse, cell will break. So only DNA will remain and cell will break. Then we treat filter with sodium hydroxide to separate DNA into single stranded. Like southern blotting, we denature the DNA. So different colonies have now DNA exposed here, and then we treat with NaOH so that all DNA will be denatured and it becomes single stranded separated. Now we add radioactively labeled probes. Since we have to check presence of our DNA, their sequence must be known. Then we can design our oligonucleotide, and then we label that oligonucleotide so that that oligonucleotide will act as a probe. So we radioactively label that sequence, DNA sequence. Then what we do? Then we allow this probe to hybridize with that membrane. So if that probe will find their complementary sequence, then it will remain attached. Otherwise, it will be washed out. So wherever it will remain attached, it will, when we add photo film or X-ray film, that place, that uh, corresponding place become black. That means if we are getting this black space, black spot on membrane, X-ray film, that means it was membrane is showing that fluorescence or radioactive decay, because our probe has hybridized there. How it will hybridize? So since there is complementary sequence present here, that's why our probe DNA will hybridize through hydrogen bonding, Watson-Crick base pairing. Our DNA will hybridize, our probe will hybridize. So now only probe is here. That's why when we keep this X-ray film become blackened, dark हो जाएगा due to radioactive decay, radioactive ray निकलने से, as you know, beta gamma ray निकलता है radio, so it will blacken your X-ray film. So from this spot, you have to isolate. Here only there is black spot. Colony have here died, and only DNA is exposed here. So from master plate, we isolate the corresponding colonies here. In this way, we can say that yes, these two colonies have our desired DNA. Means from where it comes, since we have made that genomic library, so that gene component is present in this colonies. Fine. This is colony hybridization. Same way, in place of colony, if your library is in bacteriophage, so it will show here plaque, P-L-A-Q-E-E, Q-U-E. So process will same, only we don't use that much SDS and other thing, because this is bacteriophage colony. So we do same step, we call it plaque hybridization. Since sample is plaque, so we call plaque hybridization. If sample is colony, so we call it colony hybridization. In this way, we find out our positive clone from the laboratory. Fine. So you can see here. What is functional complementation? Can you write in message what is functional complementation? How can we check presence of our desired clone using that functional complementation? If we add protein complementary to our protein, means Suppose one person doesn't have eye, and we prepare genomic, you know that suppose eye is presence of eye is due to presence of some gene, or some gene is controlling the presence of eye. Suppose someone is blind, so from normal human we take their genomic DNA and prepare a library. That means ki normal human have all the complement of genes, that's why they are not blind, and someone is blind. We have to find out which gene is responsible for blindness. So by any means, if we take, there are millions of colonies having different fragments of our genome, normal person's genome. So if we add one by one in blind, one by one DNA from that colony, one by one gene in that blind person. So if we are adding number one DNA isolated from number one, so they are still blind. Number two still blind. Number three still. In this way, number four, suppose we are adding that DNA complement DNA in that blind person, and they are now become able to see. They are no more blind. That, what does it mean? That person, suppose, and they restores their normal function. That means that gene was missing in that person. That is known as functional complementation. So this is not easy in case of higher organism. This is means at least in case of women. Just for the sake of example I have given. Suppose one bacteria is mutant. E. coli is normally movable. Suppose it can move. So we prepare, and one bacteria, mutant bacteria, they are not non-motile. That means that bacteria have some gene is not functional. So from library, we prepare a library, genomic library from that bacteria, from that same species. And then one by one, we add gene in that mutant bacteria, which are not able to move, non-motile. If by adding that gene number X, gene number Y, suppose, and they become motile, that means the gene number Y was missing in that bacteria. When we add that Y gene, it becomes again motile. They restore normal function. This type of things, this type of a screening of library is called complementation, functional complementation screening. आया समझ में? Complementation means पूरा होता है, जो कमी था वो हमने डाल दिया.
Yes, sir.
That organism was mutant, or that organism doesn't have that gene which were missing. That's why they are not showing that particular function. So from normal organism of same species, we prepare a genomic library, and from genomic library we isolate different clone and we add one by one. In which it restores, mutant organism restores their function. That means the gene which we have added, the DNA fragment we have added, that was missing in that organism. In this way, we can also find out function of that gene. Gain of function. What is gain of function? In functional complementation, we add the gene which was missing in that organism. That is, means lost gene we add from outside, so that they restore normal function. They start performing normally. But in gain of function, suppose some bacteria have 30-minute replication time or duplication time, generation time. So by adding the gene, if it starts rapidly duplicating, suppose in 20 minutes, that means the gene which we have added in that organism is responsible for replication. In this way also we find out function of gene. This is the way to screen the library, and in this way also we can find out which genes are responsible for which function. Fine. Okay, Pratiksha, good. Yes. Can you elaborate more? Pratiksha Godkar, but sir, is it not too tedious method? Is it used frequently? Which method? Which method you are talking, Pratiksha? Okay. So functional. So initially nowadays there are huge sequencing data available in database. How can we find out function of gene? What are the other methods? In every method there is difficulties. That's why scientists are working. They come to know in 53 that DNA structure, and then they come to know that DNA is main hereditary unit, and then one gene, one enzyme hypothesis, and so many things. Still, we are not knowing function of several genes, even of our human genome, which is very precious. हमारा जीवन बहुत प्रीशियस है, फिर भी हम अपने सारे जीन का अभी तक कैरेक्टराइज नहीं कर पाए. We don't know function of all the genes present in our genome. Despite of known sequence is known. Initially, before genome sequencing, सोच सकते हो कि कितना टीटीएस होता होगा. इसीलिए पूरे पीएचडी में लोग एक जीन को कैरेक्टराइज कर लेते थे तो उसका पीएचडी हो जाता. So if you don't have any idea about that gene, then you have to perform all this tedious job. And generally for functional complementation, for higher organism, we cannot do. That is limitation. That's why we are unable to find out. We know the function or role of almost all genes of yeast and E. coli, but we don't know about our genes, because it's not easy to handle human. It's not easy to do this functional complementation in case of human. That's why we are not knowing. It's easy in case of lower organism, bacteria and yeast and other things. But from bacteria, once we characterize all the genes of lower organism, then we can correlate. Nowadays, people, how they now come to that? How we nowadays come to know that function of the gene? Suppose we have genome sequence. So this is simple, that we search homology. In silico homology, we perform in silico homology. If that sequence is matching with known sequence of the other organism, then we predict that yes, this might be the function of this unknown gene also. So nowadays, mostly we are dependent on homology searching because it is easy. But from where we will search homology? Someone have deposited that data in the database. That's why we can search homology. अगर कुछ है ही नहीं उससे related, if we have a unique gene sequence, how can you find out homology? That's why bioinformatician का काम उतना ही तक लिमिटेड हो जाता है. फाइनल रिजल्ट वेट लैब में करना पड़ता है, वेट एक्सपेरिमेंट करना पड़ता है, लैब एक्सपेरिमेंट, टू शो द फंक्शन ऑफ द पर्टिकुलर जीन. We have to characterize that. We have to produce recombinant protein, and then we do enzymatic assay or other crystallographic assay or NMR assay to know its three-dimensional structure, 3D structure, and then we predict what could be the function of this protein. So it's not easy to find out function of the protein and function of the gene. Fine. Good. So these are the some methods to screen your positive clone from the library, or if you are cloning one gene only at one time. So that is replica plating, methods, and then blue white screening, and then double digestion, colony PCR. But during my PhD, I have never used that blue white screening or replica plating. We have used always that colony PCR and double digestion to ensure whether I have successfully cloned our gene or not. And so this is overall cloning strategy. This is isolation of desired gene to be cloned. So this is synthetic method, fragmentation of that gene. But fragmentation you can do for preparation of genomic library, not one gene. PCR methods, mRNA and cDNA conversion. These are methods to isolate so that we will get DNA fragment to be cloned. Then we digest it and modify it. Simultaneously, we take vector and digest it. So, if probability of getting your positive clone is less, then what will happen? You have to isolate plasmid from several colonies, and then you will digest it and check fallout. Are you hearing, Mohit? Mohit? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you are talking about can we do double digestion without PCR? So you can do that if you are thinking that your ligation, then what will happen? You will have to isolate several plasmids from different colonies, and then you will digest and check. So it's difficult process because you have to culture it, then isolate plasmid, and then do digestion. So what we do, we generally it's 3 hours job in colony PCR. We have already primer available since we have done PCR cloning. So we have everything available, PCR and primers available. So within same day, we can find out whether we are getting positive clone or not. From all this positive, we can take few colonies for our, you can say, assurance, and then we isolate plasmid and double digest. Are you getting my point? So just note down this question and let me know. Fine. Directional cloning is cut a plasmid with 2 restriction enzyme at MCS, multiple cloning sites. Clone a piece of foreign DNA with 1 sticky end recognizing each enzyme. The insert DNA is placed into the vector in only one orientation. Vector religation is also prevented as the 2 restriction sites are incompatible. So what is the other benefit of directional cloning? So there was possibility of, where is that? You can see here, okay. Here, since both are, we have digested it with same enzyme, so it can self-ligate also, recircularize also. But if it is directional cloning, so both ends have different. Oh, no one is able to see. Khushi Sharma, Kavya, Bhumika, Mihir, Lavanya, are you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Why not Khushi Sharma? She joined now. So Khushi, Kavya, search in people, go and search in people, which is at top right corner. And then you will search Saraswati presentation, then click there and there is pin option. Pin figure you will see, so pin there, then you will see my presentation. Oh, Kavya is since beginning. So you were not seeing my presentation, Kavya? Now, Kavya, to search in people. हेल्प करो उसको, मैसेज करो कोई को.
So I have pinned it, but I can see your photo, not the presentation.
No. Search. Go and search people where you will find Saraswati. In Saraswati presentation, you see Saraswati presentation where you will click and pin it so that you will see only presentation, not my photo.
Okay, sir. Got it. Thank you.
हो गया? Now are you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Good. This time में दूसरे को बताते हैं. Next times who are present now, if you are facing that problem, so you should search the people and then pin it presentation पर. Fine. Question. You have noted this question. Bhumika, mute your mic. So this is usual vector, expression vector we use. Now we are talking about detailed steps of PCR cloning. How can we clone our desired gene if sequence is known? You remember first condition, na? So if sequence is known and if you have template available, then you should do PCR cloning. So we will discuss in detail about PCR based cloning. So how can we start PCR cloning? So suppose you have to clone some gene X, then and you wish to clone it into expression vector, suppose PET vector. So how can we start? So first step is selection of cloning sites in a given vector where gene to be inserted. So suppose you know that you have to clone in PET vector, but in PET vector here, out of these sites where you will clone your gene. First question is, in which site you should clone? What is the basis? Out of this, suppose you are doing directional cloning, so at which sites you will cut this vector and your gene, PCR amplified gene, so that you can clone it. So which site, restriction site you will choose? Write your answer. First step is write your answer in message box. Out of several restriction sites present in MCS in the vector, which restriction site you will select to clone your gene? And we are talking about PCR cloning. Hello. Not based on gene to be cloned. Again, she is not able to see. Then check your mobile. Sometimes you are able to see, sometimes you are not able to see. That is something going wrong. And I told you, have you pinned in presentation? Have you pinned that? Pin that presentation. So how will you clone? We can insert the Ramesh, we can insert the inverted repeat so that inversion gene will be deleted. See, for PCR cloning, we select the sites which are absent in the gene. Suppose we have to clone this gene. So in this, that restriction site should not be present. Out of this, you have to search which restriction site is absent in this gene. Are you getting? Our gene,
Yes.
our open reading frame should not have restriction site. Then
Yes,
only
sir.
we can clone complete this gene. So this gene should not have this restriction site. So we have to search which of these restriction sites are absent in the gene. Then only we can clone at that site. Are you getting? You can note down it for PCR cloning, and if purpose is to clone complete gene, then we should search the sites, restriction sites present in MCS should not be present in our gene ORF. We should choose MCS which unique from gene of interest. So in gene of interest, that unique site should be present or not. That is difference between practical and theoretical. Everybody is saying about unique, but what does it mean unique? Our gene should have or not. So restriction sites present in MCS, we can choose that restriction site which are absent in our gene. Only out of this many sites we have option. MCS, I have already described that we have several restriction sites. So out of this restriction, we can choose two. But which two? For directional cloning, we need two. So which two we can choose? The sites which are absent from our gene. In our gene, that restriction site should not be present. Then now question arises, then how can we ligate? If there is no restriction site in this, then how can we digest and create an overhang which is compatible to this restriction site and it will ligate? Are you getting? Because DNA fragment must have that overhang and then vector must have that overhang, then it will ligate. But I told you that in our ORF, restriction sites should not be present. Only that restriction site we use for cloning. If you have any question, doubt, you can repeat so that I can clear it, then we can go further. How can we search that? Out of this which are absent in our gene, then only we can choose that. So how can we search? So we can search one by one that yes, XHO is present or not, hint 3 is present or not. XHO, so if suppose hint 3 is absent, then yes, we can clone at a hint 3. We have to select again other, and CO is present or not. In this way, we have to find out restriction sites are absent. Then we can choose out of that absent restriction site cloning sites. Now this is manual method to search. We can search by yes. So we search NEB cutter. They may change sometimes that website, and I have copied that gene sequence. Oh, it becomes duplicate. Suppose whatever sequence we add here. Suppose this is your sequence. Now, let's change there. Now we submit here. See, it will show what are the restriction enzyme sites are present. If you will search here one cutter, you can search this list. If you are searching zero cutter, you will search this list. Means zero cutter means what? Means the enzymes which are available in this company are absent in your gene. There is no restriction sites for AAT2, AC651, ACC1. So you have to search zero cutter of your gene. And you have to search this. Suppose NCO, XHO, BAMH1, HIND3. So you search that whether that NCO is here or not. Suppose BAMH1 is here or not. Suppose BAMH1, you can see BAMH1 is here. That means that BAMH1 is absent from your gene. So now you can clone your gene at BAMH1. In this way, you search now XHO or HIND3. HIND3 is also present in MCS. So we have to search that HIND3. So you can clone at HIND3 also. HIND3 is not present in your gene of interest. NCO, NCO1. Yes, you can clone NCO1. You can choose NCO1 site also. In this way,
Yes,
we
sir.
have to search zero cutter. Suppose you are getting all as a zero cutter. Means there is no restriction sites, no recognition sequence of this restriction enzyme in your gene. That means you can choose any. If suppose you are finding HIND3 is present in your gene, then you should not clone at HIND3. Then remaining you can use. In this way, you have to search zero cutter sites in your gene. If your purpose is to clone entire gene, ORF complete open reading. Fine. So now suppose you have option that you can clone at any sites. But since your lab is working already, so you don't have XHO, then you have to search your lab that out of this enzyme we have option to clone at any sites. Then we search that which enzymes are available in our laboratory, or we have to purchase it. So depending upon your condition, you select your sites. Suppose we are cloning at ND1 and XHO. We have decided that this enzyme is present in our lab, so we can work. If all enzymes are present in your lab, then you should choose the restriction enzyme which are more efficient in digesting this vector and your gene, so that you will not have to digest it for overnight or 1 day, and efficiency is if 90%, then you will get less digestion. So you choose it. It will come with experience, or with if you will search that enzyme suppliers, companies, protocols. Generally, BAMH1 is very easy, XHO also, but ND is tough enzyme. Means its digestion is not very good, and it takes more time. In this way, we search 2 restriction enzyme sites. But primary criteria is your gene, your open reading frame does not have that restriction sites. If you have an option of all, then search which is useful, which is easily available enzyme with you. ठीक? First step हो गया तुम्हारा. You have searched, suppose site, suppose you can clone it. So selection, you have selected that cloning sites where you can clone your gene of interest. Then second is designing a primer pairs. because I have already said you that we are going to do PCR cloning. So we have to design a primer. How many primers required for PCR? 2. Forward and reverse primer. So now, suppose you have to clone at BAM-H1 and HINT3 site. This is restriction site for BAM-H1 and HINT3. Now you have to clone this gene. This is sequence of gene. You have to clone this gene. And you have Helicobacter pylori template, genomic DNA is available. So you have to clone this gene. So now design a primer so that you can do PCR and clone it. Now it's your exercise. You can write in your message, design a primer for performing PCR followed by cloning. And you have to clone this gene at BAM-H1 and HINT3 site of that PET vector, this vector. This vector have BAM-H1 and HINT3. So we have selected, suppose BAM-H1 and HINT3 site. So now design a primer, write primer sequence in your message box. As it is लेंगे ATG, AAA, CTG, GG. In this way we take 17 to 25 nucleotides. And reverse primer we take complementary to this. A है तो T, G है तो C, T है तो A. In this way we take reverse primer. Fine. So this is ATG, A. In this way this is forward primer and this is reverse primer. Now, as you know, there is no restriction sites in this gene. So how can we clone? So we have to add restriction site in this gene. Then we can digest it and clone. For that, hello?
Sir, one question.
Bolo.
The primer which we are making, it has to be complementary with our strand. One has to be as it is, one has to be complementary.
Yes.
तो सर हम अपने स्ट्रैंड में पहले सीक्वेंस ढूंढने के कहाँ पे है, या फिर हम स्टार्टिंग से फर्स्ट, जैसे ये स्टार्ट हो रहा है ATG से, यहाँ से फर्स्ट बना देंगे?
So here our purpose is to produce recombinant protein. Cloning के बाद हमारा purpose है recombinant protein. So generally we should not avoid any sequence. So we will take from a starting ATG. This is a start codon. So we must take from here starting. So not like a primer 3, the software has, some students have used that. So we cannot design primer from somewhere. The purpose is to clone complete gene. If your purpose is only to see the presence of the gene, sometimes we use PCR to check whether that pathogen, that bacteria, virus is present or not. So to check presence of that virus at that gene, we can design from primer from anywhere. But here purpose is to produce a protein. Then we cannot avoid any sequence. Otherwise, we will get a small protein, deleted protein, truncated protein. So here we don't have option. We should take from a starting, provided if there is very rare cases where you are not getting amplification or something else, then otherwise we should amplify from a starting sequence and up to a stop codon.
सर बट जो हमने फॉरवर्ड प्राइमर नीचे बनाया हुआ है उसका सीक्वेंस जो है इट इज ATG, वो तो ऊपर है, फिर AAA हमने GGA लिखा है.
ATG AAA, यहाँ भी तो AAA है, ATG AAA as it is, है ना?
नहीं सर, नीचे जब फॉरवर्ड प्राइमर बना है तो GGA है, ऊपर है ATG AAA.
This rate don't read now. I will discuss why we have added this. Read from here, ATG AAA. This is complementary to gene. ATG AAA CTG. You can see ATG AAA CTG AGA. This is complementary sequence to your gene. This is your primer. एक स्टेप पहले ही पढ़ ले तो इसलिए नहीं समझ में आ रहा. This is gene sequence primer which will bind with your gene sequence.
Yes.
and this is reverse primer. Since we have to clone our gene, how can we add our restriction sites at terminal end of the gene? For that, we add this restriction sites. BAM-H1 restriction site in forward primer and Hind3 in reverse primer. And this is complementary to this. Now, why we have added this extra ATG here, ATG here? We can add any nucleotide, AAA, TTT, CCG, any 3-4 nucleotide we add. So, actual PCR primer have 3 parts. One is complementary to this gene. Second part is restriction enzyme sites, and third part is seating sites, where restriction enzyme will sit and cut it. Now you will see how this primer binds. But this is 3 parts. These 3 parts are present in this primer sequence. One is complementary to gene, this is restriction sites, and this is seating sites. So we have designed a primer pair, forward and reverse. Now, PCR amplification of gene to be cloned using appropriate primer pairs and template. Now, suppose this is your primer. So show me, or you yourself can do and show me next day, that thermal cycle of PCR. How can you add that thermal cycle? Annealing kitna part, denaturation kitna, how much time? So you can write that PCR steps using this primer. So we have to calculate annealing temperature, and we should take that mean of that melting temperature, and then we take 5 to 10 degree lesser than that. So we perform PCR. So we design this primer and send to company, so that it will send, that company will send us powder of this primer. Now we dilute it, and then we perform PCR, in which we add that PCR steps, and through PCR machine we do PCR. Again, this length, not sequence, I'm talking about length. Depending upon which enzyme you are going to use, based on that, this length may increase or decrease. Seating sites length varies depending upon restriction enzyme. Some restriction enzyme needs longer seating sites, some enzyme needs a smaller. Suppose you are digesting with BAM-H1, so even 2 nucleotides extra is sufficient. But suppose you are digesting with NTE, then 4-5 nucleotides are required. Some enzyme is larger, or some due to some other reason, they need longer seating sites. Some enzyme are so robust that even in a smaller seating sites, it can digest your DNA efficiently. So after PCR, what we do? We purify that PCR product. We cannot use directly that PCR product. We purify. So generally we perform gel purification. If after amplification, PCR amplification, we take some amount, some aliquot, and run on gel. If we find a specific band corresponding to your desired gene, then we just purify it. If we find non-specific band along with your specific PCR product, a specific gene product, then we cannot directly purify. Then we have to run on gel, and then from gel we should extract that PCR product. Are you getting? If PCR is very specific, then we can directly. हाँ?
सर नहीं समझ आया ये पॉइंट.
Virra, Milli, Virra, Venkat Rangara. Who is this? He's joining now. Rinka. Rinka is here. Okay.
Sir, not understood.
Hello.
Sir, not understood.
Not.
Not understood. Last point, sir.
ये 10th point.
सर जो आप बता रहे हो कि अगर वो स्पेसिफिक है तो हमें ऐसे करना है, अभी आप जो लास्ट पॉइंट बता रहे थे।
So there is possibility that you are targeting your gene to be amplified, but you may get non-specific amplification also. So how can you find out? So we take, suppose you have performed 50 microliter PCR mixture. So take 5 microliter and run on gel. So on gel you will find that whether you are getting only your band which you are desired to amplify, you through molecular weight marker you can find out. And if you are getting non-specific band also, then you should not proceed directly for purification. Then you run all remaining 45 microliter on gel and then cut that band, corresponding band from gel, and elute that PCR product. If you are not getting any non-specific band along with your amplified product, then you don't have to run remaining 45 microliter on gel. You just purify it with adding some tea buffer and phenol chloroform and then do that purification process. Or sometimes you can use kit for PCR purification. So now we have ready insert. Insert means the gene or the DNA fragments which you are going to clone, which you are going to ligate with vector, that is known as insert. So now we have ready insert. Fine. After purification of amplified gene, you have
Yes,
now
sir.
ready. After that, we isolate the plasmid or purchase the plasmid. If you don't have that plasmid, then you should purchase it and transform into E. coli so that you can get more amount of that. So you purify from E. coli that plasmid and then digest it. So digestion of plasmid vector means you purchase and then digest, or you can isolate from bacteria and then you can digest. After digestion, you purify. So you purify that digestion product, plasmid, and you have already purified that amplified gene. So digest this purified PCR product in different tube, and then this purified plasmid which you have isolated in different tube. So digest in different tube, insert DNA, gene, and then vector with their enzyme. For digestion, also there are protocols. You have to search whether you should digest sequentially or you should digest doubly, means double digestion. You should perform double digestion or sequential digestion. Depending upon if both the enzymes, suppose BAMH1 and HIN3 you have taken for digestion. So whether both enzymes are optimally working in a same buffer or different buffer. Sometimes two enzyme doesn't work in one buffer. Both needs their own buffer. Then you have to do sequential digestion. Means first you digest with BAMH1, then purify it, and then digest with HIN3. So depending upon sets of the restriction enzyme and their available buffer, we check whether we can digest doubly both enzymes simultaneously or singly, sequentially. It's depending upon which restriction sites you are taking for digestion. So digest your vector and digest your amplified PCR product in different tubes.
Sir, one
After,
question.
yes.
सर जो हमारा मल्टीपल क्लोनिंग साइट है ना, वहाँ पे हमारे रिस्ट्रिक्शन साइट्स हैं काफी सारी एंजाइम्स की। तो सर हम वहाँ पे हर रिस्ट्रिक्शन एंजाइम की 2 साइट्स होंगी, बिकॉज कई बार हम नॉन डायरेक्शनल क्लोनिंग भी तो करते हैं ना।
यस, इफ यू आर डूइंग नॉन डायरेक्शनल तो एक साइट्स पर काटेंगे।
एक पे काट तो सेम एंजाइम से दोनों काटेंगे. दैट
क्या?
मीन्स सर अगर हम नॉन डायरेक्शनल कर रहे हैं तो एक ही एंजाइम 2 कट्स लगाएगी ना.
नो नो नो, इसका मतलब तुमको डाइजेशन समझ नहीं आया. एक
नहीं
एंजाइम
सर,
कट एक एंजाइम जब काटेंगे तो 2 एंड बनेंगे.
2 एंड्स बनेंगे.
यस, 2
तो
साइड्स पर नहीं
मतलब
काट रहा है, 2
जो
एंड. हाँ,
जो MCS है उसमें एक ही साइट है उसका रिस्ट्रिक्शन, हमारी रिस्ट्रिक्शन एंजाइम का.
in MCS there are so many restriction sites ना.
बट सबका एक एक साइट है वहां पे.
यस 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 यस,
ओके.
सबका MCS का उस टाइम बताएं. that restriction sites which are present at MCS should not be present anywhere. That's why this should be unique. It should be singly present. Restriction sites present in the MCS should not present anywhere. It should be present singly in whole vector, which is at MCS.
यस सर.
आ गया समझ में?
आ गया सर.
So we separately digest our plasmid and then PCR product, PCR amplified product. After digestion, we purify again plasmid, digested plasmid, as well as digested your desired gene. Then, to ensure proper digestion of vector and PCR product, then purify both by gel extraction purification methods. Sometimes we do gel extraction, or sometimes for this PCR product, we don't do gel extraction, directly we purify by PCI methods. So we purify digested plasmid and digested desired gene. We have to purify it. Why we should purify? So that when we mix with ligase enzyme, that buffer and other things, other enzyme restriction enzymes should not hamper, should not interact with other things which are required for ligation. So in every step we purify. After purification, we mix PCR product and then digested vector in 1:3 ratio. Ensure proper digestion of vector and PCR product, then purify both by gel extraction purification. Fine. Then take 1:3 molar ratio of vector and insert. Insert means that digested DNA. We should take always more amount of insert DNA, so that you will get good ligation. So concentration of insert DNA should be 3 times more than the vector you are taking. So how much vector you should take? It depending upon the ligase enzyme you are using. Some ligase, some company provide that you take only 50 microgram vector and ligate with 1 microliter ligase. So depending upon that, enzyme suppliers instruction, we take that much amount of vector. Generally, we used to take during cloning 50 nanogram of vector only. And then accordingly, we take 3 molar extra our digested gene product. Other people is not interacting, they are understanding or not?
Yes, sir. We are listening, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are listening but not understanding?
Yes, sir.
No, we are
Huh?
understanding, sir.
No, sir. We are able to understand.
Thank you. Good.
Yes, sir.
So why we take molar ratio 1:3?
Molar ratio 1:3,
Yes,
so
sir.
that our insert DNA will interact. This is random process. So if it will not interact, then it will not ligate. So sometimes if we don't have more amount of suppose insert DNA, then we add some concentrating reagent like polyethylene glycol and other things, so that local concentration of that insert DNA will increase. If it will not interact with that end of the vector, then how it will ligate? and both are vector and insert are in solution. So it's continuously interacting with vector and insert is interacting. Then sometimes if they will find their complementary overhang, then they stick together and then ligase enzyme will ligate it. So counter interaction, to increase counter interaction, generally people use 1:4, 1:5, 1:6 also, vector versus insert ratio, if they face problem in ligation.
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
So we don't know whether ligation is successful or not. Most of the time we take that ligated mixture and transform our competent E. coli cell. We must keep our competent E. coli cell ready before this ligation. So ligation time is also depending upon ligase enzyme you are purchasing from which company and which type of ligase. Some ligase are quick ligase. Within 5 minutes, it will ligate. Vector and insert will ligate. Some ligase enzyme requires overnight ligation. Some enzyme requires 4-hour ligation. So depending upon which ligase you are purchasing, you have to incubate your ligation mix for that much time. After ligation, we take that mixture, ligation mixture, and transform that competent E. coli cell. You have to follow that transformation protocol. As you know that we add some amount of DNA and then keep on ice for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then we give heat shock at 40 degrees C for 90 seconds, and then we add LB media 1 ml, and then again keep for 1 hour as a revival. Then we take that cell culture, 1 hour incubated culture, and spread on plates having LB, agar, and the respective antibiotics depending upon which vector you have used for cloning. So we transform, we add this ligation product into competent E. coli cell, and then we follow that protocol of transformation, which is 2 hours protocol. After transformation, we spread that transformed E. coli into that plate, antibiotic containing plate, and then we keep that plate on 37 degree centigrade of incubator, so that in overnight, next day when you will come, you will see several colonies in the plate. If you are doing blue-white screening, then you will get some blue colonies and some white colonies. So overnight incubation. From that colony, you have to select either through colony PCR or through double digestion. You have to select positive clone. Fine. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now see one by one. So suppose this is gene, or you can consider that gene also. The steps of primer designing. So selection of vector for cloning. How we select vector? So based on our purpose, we select female vector if cloning expression is required, pet vector, PGX vector. In this way, we select depending upon availability and the problem. If we wish a smaller tag, then pet vector is good. Frequently used expression vector is pet vector. So suppose this is our pet vector, then you can see identify cloning restriction sites which are absent in gene this. So in this way, NEV cutter, through NEV cutter we can search. I have shown you already. We can search restriction sites which are absent in our gene. So we can search that site, you can see. So we search zero cutter. This is these sites which are present, but we have to search the site which are absent. So we again click on zero cutter, so that when you will cut zero cutter, so you will get list of enzyme which are absent in your gene. So you have to match the restriction sites present at MCS of the vector, which should be absent in the gene. Then only you can select that site. So you should search that. So this is here. In this way you can search. So the enzyme do not cut. These are list of zero cutter, and that restriction sites are present in MCS. Here you can see there are so many zero cutter, but you have to search whether restriction sites are present in vector are absent in our gene or not. So you can see these are restriction sites present in MCS, but which are absent in our gene. After that, we design a primer. So design primer taking initial and last 18 nucleotide of gene, whatever gene you have, 18 or 17 nucleotide you should take. Then you can see this is initial, this is last, this is reverse primer, and this is forward primer. So here you add restriction enzyme sites. So which restriction enzyme you should add in forward? So again you have to check the orientation of that promoter. Where is promoter and where is this restriction site you are selecting? Based on that, reverse and forward primer you have to select. So this is restriction site and this is a spacer sequence. Seating sequence or a spacer sequence you can see. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Not
you can-
understood.
Hello?
Not understood.
क्या नहीं है not understood?
तो एक बार पिछली स्लाइड करो.
पढ़ो इसको.
सर स्पेसर कौन सा है इसमें?
क्या?
सर स्पेसर सीक्वेंस कौन सा हुआ?
सीटिंग सीक्वेंस बताया था ना वहाँ ATG.
वही स्पेसर होता है.
हाँ उसी को स्पेसर भी बोलते हैं, सीटिंग सीक्वेंस बोलते हैं.
ओके सर.
Good. So you can see why we add this restriction, because there is no BAMH1 sites in this gene. So after PCR, you will see that our amplified product have this restriction sites comes at this terminal and BAMH1 comes at this terminal. And this spacer again become double stranded. So now your gene is this, your amplified product becomes this. Means there is no BAMH1 in this gene. Starting is ATG, stop somewhere. So in this between, there is no restriction sites. But we have added restriction site. How? Through this PCR. We have added this restriction site through designing a primer which have this overhang restriction sites. So now amplified PCR product have BAMH1 at 5' end and XHO at 3' end. Now this is double stranded PCR product. Now if you will digest this PCR product, digestion by XHO, and you are digesting this vector also. Suppose we are digesting with BAMH1. So BAMH1 is here and this is MCS. So you are digesting BAMH1 as well as XHO. So you separately digest this vector and separately digest this PCR product, gene of interest. So you will get in this way. Restriction site will come here, this side BAMH1 and this side XHO1. So now this is a start codon, this is a stop. Without disturbing the open reading frame, you have successfully created this restriction site at terminal of your gene of interest. Are you getting? Now this becomes easy. Now you can clone it. जो हमारे जीन में नहीं था sites, that sites we have added through PCR. This is your product. This is your PCR product in which through PCR we have added this restriction sites. Our gene sequence starts from here and here, but due to PCR, in PCR we have added this extra sequence, a spacer and this restriction, so it comes here, it comes here. In this way, we add restriction sites in our insert DNA using PCR. Now we can easily digest it so that it will produce this sticky end, and vector have that BMH1XH2, so we digest that vector also, and we mix it with 1:3 ratio. We have purified this, PCR product, and then we mix together and add ligase enzyme, and we incubate for sometimes depending upon how efficient your ligase enzyme is. Then this is in tube, this in and this. So after ligation, what we do? We do transformation. So after transformation, we will see this type of colonies. After transformation of ligated product, we see transformed colony in this case. Fine. So out of this colony, which is your positive colony, so what you will do? You will mark 1 colony, 2 colony in this way, and take that sample and do colony PCR. You can take 2 colony, 3 colony, 4 colony, and do colony PCR. If you are getting positive here, then again you take that some amount of that colony and culture it, liquid culture, and then isolate plasmid, and then digest that plasmid with your BMH1 and HIN3. Here we are showing NCS, etc. But wherever we have cloned, suppose you have cloned at BMH1 and XHO, then we have to take BMH1 and XHO digestion. So if we are getting this fallout, that means the colony, suppose number 1 colony, we have isolated plasmid from number 1 colony. Suppose there is one number 1. That means number 1 colony have our positive clone. That is our positive clone. In this way, we can confirm. Fine. For cloning, we use these strains. These are cloning strains. This E. coli is not normal E. coli like you can isolate anywhere from sewer, water, or anywhere you can take from some stool or something. This is genetically engineered strain we use for cloning. Why? Why not we use normal wild type E. coli strain for cloning purpose? Why we should use genetically engineered E. coli strain for cloning? Hello? Yes. Peta.
Time for replication maybe less
In which?
in this
Wild type.
genetically engineered E. coli.
So we wish that it should replicate less. How it is
Faster.
beneficial for us.
Cloning, so we need faster replicating.
Faster replication of our plasmid.
Yes.
So in wild type, it will not replicate faster.
Yeah, I think so. Like
Rishika Bukharia is saying competency is more in genetically modified E. coli. No. I have already discussed during restriction modification system. In natural E. coli, suppose you are giving your organ or someone have organ failure. So some other person is giving them organ. So that patient can take others organ. Our body will accept that others organ. Organ transplant से पहले डॉक्टर क्या करते हैं? Or our body can take others organ easily?
no.
What happened? हाँ?
Immunosuppressants दी जाती हैं.
Yes, immunosuppressants दी जाती है. So that our body will not reject foreign organ, है ना? Otherwise our immune system will reject. In this way, there are restriction modification system in E. coli. So if you will introduce your recombinant DNA into that host, so what it will do? It will cleave your DNA. It will chew up your DNA. So will you get its duplication? Or so purpose of that cloning you will get, it will serve. This is foreign DNA. So that E. coli will cleave it. That's why we use the E. coli strain which have compromised restriction modification system. It will easily take your foreign DNA. Otherwise, it will reject, it will cleave, it will chew off your DNA. So you have added your ligate, means by any way you have ligated your insert with vector, you have very less amount and it will go inside the E. coli and E. coli will cleave it. So you will not get colony. That's why scientists using genetically engineered strain which can easily uptake foreign DNA. How it will easily take? So there is absence of restriction modification system. There are so many genes responsible for that rejection and cleavage. So scientists mutate that some of the gene so that that E. coli strain can easily take foreign DNA, that our DNA. And these genetically engineered strains are DH5 alpha, DH10 beta, topo strain, and different strains are available for cloning. We cannot use normal wild type strain of E. coli for cloning. No, what no? Shivani Bohidar, what no? Pratiksha Ghotkar, no. Kya no?
Sir, then you had said some questions.
Kya boli?
Sir, you were asking about that our body will accept a new
Okay.
organ.
Uska reply no aaya. Okay. So here also it will reject. So as a scientist, we mutate their immune system. That is restriction modification system we mutate so that we can eat. That's why we store this DH5 alpha and 10 beta very delicately. Don't think that we can isolate any E. coli strain and we use transformation experiment and cloning experiment. Fine. I hope you have understood that PCR based cloning.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
एक ही बोल रहे हैं. If you have any queries, any questions,
Yes, sir.
you can
Yes, sir.
ask.
Yes, sir.
So this is how can we explore function of gene? I will take that expression strategy tomorrow. So how can we find out function of the gene? To find out function of the gene, the major portion is again cloning and expression, all these things. So we divide this functional analysis into forward genetics and reverse genetics. Means sometimes we know the phenotype, but we don't know the corresponding gene. And sometimes we know the gene, but we don't know what is the role of that gene. So if we find out, if we go through phenotype to the gene, we call it forward genetics. Research, are you getting? Means we know that this person is intelligent, then there is some genes are extra in that person, but we don't know which genes. So from phenotype, if we wish to find out the responsible gene, then we call it forward genetics. But sometimes we know the gene. We know the gene sequence because our human genome sequence is known. So we know that how many genes we have. Human genome में कितने genes हैं? As per recent thing. How many genes you have? Or you are without genes? Okay. Sriya, Sai Krishnan, anybody? Other? So she is right almost. We have 20 to 30,000 genes, predicted genes. But we don't know its function. We know gene sequence. We know that there is gene, know their function. So that is known as reverse genetics. Means from gene to knowing its phenotype is known as reverse genetics. From phenotype to gene, call it forward genetics. So for forward genetics as well as reverse genetics, we have to perform that recombinant DNA technology, or you can say gene manipulation technology. So if you know phenotype, so searching the mutant, natural or artificially created, having altered phenotype. So if you wish to know the gene responsible for that particular phenotype, then you must have to search the mutant organism which doesn't have that phenotypic character. Then you can compare the missing gene in that organism and you can compare. Are you getting? So to find out gene responsible for the particular phenotype, we can search the mutant strain of that organism. And then we can compare genomes of the mutant as well as in wild type. And then we can say that, yes, since this mutant is, due to this mutant, this phenotype has gone, vanished. That means that this gene is responsible for that phenotype. Here, if you know gene sequence and if you wish to find out its role, then simplest way what bioinformatics or bioinformaticians are doing, they are searching a homology. Means they just blast their gene sequence with whatever known sequence is present in database, and they say, oh, this is matching 50% with something, some proteins or some gene, known gene that may have this character. In this way, only by sequence matching they can predict, but that is not sufficient. If once we predict it, then again to authenticate that we do knockout. So that if completely we remove completely that gene from the genome and we see that there is lack of that phenotype, वो phenotype वो जो character था वो loss हो गया जब हम ये gene हटा दिए, that means कि the gene which we have removed were responsible for that phenotype. So we call it gene knockout. Through gene knockout study, we can find out role of genes. Fine. Yes, most appropriate is 21,000 to 26,000 gene in human. So if gene knockout is possible, then we can find out its role. Gene knockdown. Suppose you wish to find out the role of gene which are essential. If we remove replication gene of that DNA polymerase, which are essential for DNA replication, then what will happen? Cell will die. If cell will die, then how can you check what is the role? So in that case, if you are trying to study the role of essential gene, then you cannot knock out that gene. You have to suppress the expression of the gene. That is known as knockdown. So to study the essential gene, we do knockdown. Means mRNA will produce, but it will not ultimately translate into protein. Or means all proteins should not be removed from the cell. We just add something which can reduce the expression of that gene, so that amount of protein will reduce, but it should not completely block. In knockdown, there is no gene, so there is no production of that protein at all. But in knockdown, we gradually reduce the expression of that gene, so that completely that protein will not be absent completely. That is gene knockdown. If knockdown is also tedious work. Sometimes we cannot perform knockdown. It takes a lot of time, lot of experimentation. So what we do overexpression. Means we isolate the gene, clone the gene, produce the recombinant protein, and then we characterize it. Or we can also do that, we can add extra gene in that organism so that protein amount will increase, and you can check their phenotype. Difference in phenotype between the organism which have one copy of that gene and which have more than one copy of that gene. Or we can increase expression of that gene so that amount of protein will increase. In this way, you can distinguish or you can find out the function of that gene. Fine. Our characterization of recombinant protein means in this overexpression we can carry it out inside the cell also, or we can isolate that gene and clone in other host. Heterologous expression करके we can find out protein, and then we can characterize in vitro by their crystallization and other things. We can characterize its function. We can find out three-dimensional structure of that protein. In this way, usually we find out role of gene, but every steps have some pros and cons, and several steps are involved. Now, if you have any queries, question, let me know. Take 5-minute break. Hello? कोई है कि नहीं?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
So take 5-minute break and think, and then ask question. Then we will proceed further. 5 मिनट का ब्रेक ले लो. आज कंटिन्यू हो गया ना 2 घंटे. थके तो नहीं ना? Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Follow.
Sir, I have one question.
I have.
One question. Sir, it is not related to this topic.
Why you are saying one
Corona.
question? You are only asking question. You are saying one question. Bolo.
Sir, while we are doing testing for coronavirus, that RT-PCR. Sir, in that, I know one hospital in Jhana, what they are doing. So they have their PCR setup in, they have their extraction and PCR setup in two separate buildings. In the first building on the third floor, they are doing this extraction. They take out that RNA, but they then put it in ice pack. But they have to then transport it to the other building, and they don't have any lift, so they have to walk down the stairs, and then again they have to climb the stairs and go to the second floor. So although they are using that ice pack, and they are using the ice pack, they say that they will prevent RNA from getting degraded, but they are getting many less positive tests. So मतलब ये टेस्टिंग सही हो रही है कि गड़बड़ वाली है?
कहाँ का बोल रहे हो? कहाँ का बताया?
कि ऐसे किसी लैब में ऐसे टेस्टिंग हो रही है, मतलब एक जगह से वो दूसरी जगह ट्रांसपोर्ट करते हैं आरएनए को, तो मतलब उसमें मतलब इसमें डीएनए आरएनए खराब नहीं हो जाएगा इतनी देर में, और उधर लेके जाते जाते उसको झटका नहीं लग जाएगा आरएनए को?
झटका तो नहीं लगता आरएनए को, बट खराब होने के चांसेस है।
सर आइस पैक में अगर लेके जाए फिर भी खराब हो सकता है?
हाँ, बट
मतलब किस वे, मतलब क्या एग्जैक्टली उसको होगा कि वो खराब होएगा? सर मतलब मोशन की वजह से खराब हो रहा है या टेम्परेचर इतनी देर के लिए उसको?
टेम्परेचर ही यहाँ पर फैक्टर है, और कोई फैक्टर नहीं है।
टेम्परेचर तो वो मेंटेन रखते हैं, टेम्परेचर तो उसी टाइम आइस पैक में डाल देते हैं।
So do you think that if we keep our enzyme at ice for one week, so it will work?
No. नहीं सर, पर उसका कोल्ड टेम्परेचर का मतलब होता है कि एक्टिविटी रिड्यूस हो जाती है।
Yes, activity will reduce, but it will not become zero. है ना? So, but since they are keeping for less time, so they may not get so much degraded. थोड़ा मोड़ा degrade होता होगा, बाकी रहता होगा. But nowadays, since more than 200 labs are working on this testing, so don't think that all 100% tests are very authentic test. समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes sir. सर मैक्सिमम कितने टाइम तक हम इसको स्टोर कर सकते हैं अगर करना हो तो आरएनए को?
No, I don't know about virus RNA and this, but generally life of bacterial mRNA is 2 minutes. Life of eukaryotic mRNA is some more. समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes sir.
In cell. अब बाहर में बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स हैं. I have not gone through that exact research paper which can determine कि इस कंडीशन में कितना मिनट रहेगा और इस टाइप का आरएनए रहेगा कितना मिनट. I don't know exactly, but I know that RNA is labile. It will break easily. In comparison to DNA, it's more fragile, more labile. DNA is comparatively stronger than RNA.
Okay sir.
है ना? बट एग्जैक्ट आई डोंट नो कि कितना मिनट रहेगा और कितना वो डिग्रेड होगा या ब्रेक होगा. आई डोंट नो एग्जैक्टली.
Yes sir.
Okay, so you don't have any question? If your seniors have also any question relating to cloning and expression, so you can bring that question tomorrow. We will discuss that. So now we will discuss a strategy for suppose you got positive clone. You have successfully cloned your gene in your respective vector and you have through that colony PCR or fallout, you have checked positive clone. But don't think that if you are using that appropriately cloned gene and then you will get their respective protein. So there are several hurdles in production of protein. It may or may not get properly folded protein, or your gene may not get expressed inside the E. coli host. So there are several hurdles. So we will discuss what are the problems and how scientists have solved. So we will discuss a strategy for expression of gene in E. coli host. If we are using E. coli as a production factory, recombinant protein production factory, then what are the hurdles? How people have solved, or how you can apply that during your research work when you wish to produce recombinant protein in E. coli. Fine? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
sir.
The first question arises, why do we need proteins? So proteins are used as a therapeutics, as a drug we can use, used as enzyme for various purposes. जैसे हम restriction enzyme use कर रहे हैं, polymerase, all are recombinant proteins, है ना? So we can have so many industrial use of enzymes, research use of enzymes. For research, we need good amount of protein with high purity to characterize that protein. I have already discussed that genome and gene sequence is very easy nowadays. But characterization of the product of that gene is difficult. So for all these purpose, we need proteins. So how can we take proteins? So there are two options. Either we purify from natural sources, purification from their endogenous source, or we can apply recombinant DNA technology. So from natural source, if we are purifying, suppose we are purifying insulin from our body, then there are limitations. We cannot purify good quantity of insulin, and second thing, we will get contaminating protein along with our insulin protein. Are you getting? If we isolate from endogenous source, then it's difficult to get rid of with other protein. High purified protein we will not get generally. Other purity is the problem, and quantity is also the problem if we isolate from endogenous source. And consistency means depending upon, suppose Indian people have more insulin, American people have less, suppose. So in different geographical region, protocol of isolation of insulin from endogenous source, from pancreas, it is different. So there is no consistency in protocols. Somebody have more, somebody have less, somebody have different contaminating source. In this way, there are serious limitations of using endogenous protein for our purpose. What are the purpose? Purpose is to use in industry, to use as a drug, to use for a research purpose. So we have two options, endogenous as well as recombinant. So in endogenous, there are serious problems. We cannot get high amount of protein. We cannot get highly purified protein. And there is no consistency among samples. So the protocol of isolation, purification will vary. So we apply recombinant DNA technology method to get good quality of protein, good quantity of protein. you can see this. This is, I have already shown you that there are several recombinant proteins used as a therapeutics, used as a drug. All are recombinant proteins. None of these are natural proteins. None of these are isolated from natural sources. I have already discussed this step. This I have already discussed. So mostly we use E. coli as a source of production of recombinant protein. Why? Because it's easy to culture. If we produce in human, any protein कुछ ऐड कर दिया जीन उसमें प्रोड्यूस करेंगे तो कोई देगा? We cannot store human as a experimental things, but bacteria easy to culture. We can create thousands of liter fermenter and we can culture bacteria, so it's easy. Very short life cycle, it duplicates very rapidly, it grows rapidly. Well-known genetics. Several different types of vectors are known. Genetics means all gene sequences and their genes functions are known. So it's easy to manipulate as per our requirement. So genetics is known, genome is known, so it's easy to handle this bacteria. That's why we use this E. coli as a source of production of recombinant protein. Cloning is technically easier. You can see it's very competent. It can take your foreign DNA and there's different vectors available and other things are also, means we can grow in plate, and so it's technically easier. That's why we prefer E. coli for the production of recombinant protein. Recombinant protein means when we use recombinant DNA technology and we produce the protein using that recombinant DNA technology, so we call it recombinant protein. Or the organism which have, in case of suppose your organism bacteria, we call recombinant bacteria. Genetically engineered bacteria also we can say recombinant bacteria. So what are the limitations? All we have seen that these are advantage of working on E. coli. We use E. coli as a source of production of recombinant protein. Limitations of E. coli: difficult or little expression of foreign genes. Sometimes we don't get expression or very less expression. If we will not get expression, we have cloned, but we will not get expression, that means we will not get protein. Then it's all exercise become futile. Post-translational modification does not occur. What is this post-translational modification?
Splicing.
Oh, this is post-transcriptional.
Sorry, sir.
Splicing is not post-translational. This is post-transcriptional. Post-translational modification.
Methylation or ubiquitination.
Yes. So there are so many. Yes, glycosylation, phosphorylation, methylation, alkylation, carboxylation, hydroxylation. There are so many modification takes place after protein synthesis. And during protein synthesis, only polypeptide bond forms. But you will see that several proteins require hydroxylation. Several proteins require carboxylation for its activity. What is the region of this scurvy? Scurvy, have you
Vitamin
heard
C
it?
deficiency.
Yes. So what vitamin C does? So vitamin C is a cofactor of the hydroxylase enzyme, which hydroxylate your collagen protein. And collagen protein becomes stiffer after hydroxylation, proline hydroxylation and other amino acid hydroxylation. So if there is no hydroxylation, so that protein becomes loose or you can say thermally less stable. So your gums and other parts where there is abundance of this collagen protein, that becomes loose, muscles become loose. So hydroxylation is also type of like carboxylation. Vitamin K do carboxylation. Means in absence of vitamin K, what happens? There is no blood clotting type of things. The blood clotting protein requires carboxylation. And for that carboxylation, vitamin K is required. This is also a type of phosphorylation you must have seen. So, but here we are talking about mainly glycosylation and some other modification which doesn't take place in the E. coli. E. coli में glycosylation नहीं होगा. And most of the eukaryotic proteins need glycosylation for its proper functioning. Fine? Hello?
Yes,
So
sir.
if you need glycosylated protein, then you cannot use E. coli as a host for production of recombinant protein, because there is no mechanism available for glycosylation in this. Disulfide bond formation is also considered as a post-translational modification. So E. coli cytoplasm doesn't allow disulfide bond formation. So if your protein requires, then you cannot use. But nowadays scientists have solved that problem. We can use E. coli for production of disulfide bond containing protein also. Main serious problem is inclusion body formation on overexpression. So particulate nature of misfolded protein, insoluble protein, that is inclusion body. So serious problem of using E. coli as a host is production of inclusion body. So how can we rid off with formation of this inclusion body? So we will discuss all these things, how scientists are solving, how scientists have solved this. So what are the strategies? So we will discuss this step. How after confirming the positive clone, how we proceed for expression. So we isolate recombinant plasmid from colony harboring the positive clone. So from there, when we studied that positive clone, so we isolate plasmid from that clone. Then we transform competent E. coli expression strain with this plasmid. Now we are talking about expression strain again. That time we talked about cloning strain. We are talking about expression strain. And both are E. coli, but we don't express our gene in that DS5 alpha and DS10 beta and other topo strain. We isolate positive plasmid from that cloning strain and then transform this E. coli expression strain.